What's up, everybody? My name is steveheitter. This is Gate City Sports Channel, and today's topic, let's talk draft, guys. So I did my first mock draft. Now, this is all pre-free agency, guys. Let's be honest. Whose mock draft looks the same post-free agency? Whose mock draft looks the same post-combine? Like, obviously, there's going to be like 2 to 3 more of these mock drafts because circumstances and events are going to change. They're going to reshape your roster, and you're going to have to redo it again, right? So let me explain what I did here, guys. I'm not doing it live on the show. I've already done the mock draft. I'm just going to show you guys what I did. We will do our own community-based one, but I want to give you the way I played the board today, and then we'll talk about like kind of some of the selections. So I used PFF. Let me tell you right from the jump, guys. I don't trust PFF because they were giving me people who haven't even declared for the draft. So just be aware of PFF. You might want to use a different mock simulator if I'm going to be honest. I can't really recommend them because like, I really was like, because I was judging what they said about, Jarrett Patterson, the center from Notre Dame, which kind of messed up my board a little bit. And then, like, I kept thinking to myself, like, I swear to God, he decided to come back. He decided to go back to Notre Dame. What is going on here? He did. So just, buyer beware with these PFF things. Like, make sure the dudes are actually declared for the draft if you do these, these mock draft things, guys. All right. So let me start off by saying, you have to understand where the picks fall. It's randomized. I can't, sometimes picks go where you don't expect them to go. I set the randomness down on this one, but I did set up like a balance between position of need, versus just best player available. I kind of went with more of a 60-40 mix there, just because I don't think that teams go like really, really ridiculously strong on just position of need. It's a position of need, with the best player available. It's a mix of these things, right? So what I want to start off by saying is the first Blockbuster rolled out from this mock draft right from the jump. PFF's mock draft, and I got a feeling this must be using a database or an algorithm-based function to it that's older from back in January. Man, you know what their number one overall drafted player was on this mock draft I did? And I turned the randomness down. The number one overall selection from PFF's mock draft was cornerback from Louisiana State University, Derek Stingley Jr. All right, I'm going to pull it up and I'm going to show you guys. We're going to go over the top 10. I'm going to tell you in a minute why that's like such a ridiculous, it's such a ridiculous thing for PFF to do. I don't know what they're thinking, and it's not because of Derek Stingley's injuries, which, certainly like that plays a role. Like, of course it's going to play a role. Like the injuries, of course, they're going to really matter. Sorry, guys, I'm showing you the big board instead of like what I really want to show you here. The injuries are going to matter, and it's going to certainly hurt his draft value. I don't think there's any doubt about that, guys. But that's not even like why I'm a little down on this pick. Who wants to play a little trivia here today? Who can tell me the last time a cornerback was drafted number one overall in the NFL draft? Does anybody know? Before I give you the answer, guys? Because I'm here to tell you, it's never happened. As far as I know, it has never happened in the NFL draft. There's never been a cornerback selected number one overall. A corner, I should say. All right, so the top 10. Here's how the top 10 kind of laid out. So sorry, Jacksonville fans. I got nothing to do with this. This is PFF. Derek Stingley Jr. Kenny Pickett went second overall to Detroit. Third was Kayvon Thibodeau. So let's talk about Thibodeau for a second, because I think that's kind of that's a groundbreaking one, right? Is that they had Thibodeau go before Aiden Hutchinson, which to me, that's another one. That's another like kind of blockbuster thing to have happen here. I'm not saying that any of these things will or won't happen. I'm just saying like, number one, having a defensive back, a cornerback in particular, go number one overall would be like NFL history, let alone like, we're not even talking about individual franchise history. So, I mean, like there's definitely some like groundbreaking things off of this mock draft that I noticed right from the jump. And I was like, oh, okay, like, I mean, to each their own. I can't, I can't say anything about somebody, it's their choice of how they want to shape their draft board. But I got some doubts about the way they got things kind of stacked up here, if I'm being quite honest. As it kind of rolled its way out, guys, I'm sorry, I'm trying to find out where the tab just went for me, because my tab just like completely disappeared on me, which is really frustrating with this stuff. So StreamYard. Here we go. All right. So after Thibodeau, they went Kyle Hamilton, number 4 overall to the Jets. I could kind of see that one. I thought Hamilton would probably go a little later in the draft than this, but I could see it. Number 5, this one really ticks me off. The Giants draft, this be like my worst nightmare. I would hate this draft. The Giants, number 5 overall, get Aiden Hutchinson, edge rusher, Michigan. Like, come on, man, really? Number 6 was followed up with George Karlaftis, edge rusher from Purdue. Interesting they have Karlaftis rated that high. I think Karlaftis is a good player, and I do know that scouts are really high on Karlaftis. No matter how I feel about him personally, I know scouts really like him. But here's my other personal nightmare. Number 7, the Giants circle back around. They take NC State tackle guard, Ikem Ekwonu, one of my favorite players in this draft, one of my favorite players from NC State. You guys know that I'm an NC State member of the NC State alumni. So, yeah, I'm not cool with that, guys. Number 8 was Garrett Wilson. Number 9 was Evan Neal, tackle from Alabama. I mean, if Aaron Rodgers or somebody like that, Russ, ends up in Denver, I mean, Evan Neal makes a ton of sense. I like Evan Neal. You know, a lot of people, we talked about Falale. Sorry, guys. Evan Neal's another one of these big dudes, man. 6'7", 6'8", 350, 360 pounder. Dude moves. I mean, that guy's incredible. His movement ability is next level. Number 10 was David Ojabo, edge rusher from the Jets. Number 11 to the Washington Washington, whatever they're called now. Sam Howell. Number 12 was Matt Corral. So in the first 12 picks, we already had 3 quarterbacks off the board. In some ways, this draft scenario is a nightmare. In other ways, this is great. Like 3 quarterbacks coming off the board would be great because, I mean, it would be an excellent feature. Guys, I can't blow the picture up anymore. I have no control over that. It's StreamYard. It would be a dream scenario. Like that would be an absolute dream scenario here. I don't know that I'm going to count on 3 quarterbacks going in the top 12. I do think that it is possible 2 quarterbacks go before pick 15, but you know, it's kind of crazy, man. It's kind of crazy the way they laid it out. Okay, so just some kind of like, you know, accounting here: Stingley, Kenny Pickett, Thibodeau, Hamilton, Hutchinson, Karlaftis, Ekwonu, Wilson, wide receiver Wilson from Ohio State, Neal, Ojabo, Sam Howell, and Matt Corral were the top 12 players selected in this particular mock draft. Okay, I don't know how accurate that is, but that's what it came out to be. Some other like really newsworthy things here that I think are really newsworthy to talk about. The number 13 pick was Lindstrom. So Lindstrom went 13th overall to Cleveland. Pretty good fit for Lindstrom, in my opinion. I don't know that Lindstrom's a top 15 pick, though, guys. Like that's another groundbreaking statement to make because think about it, guys. When's the last time you saw a center go in the top 15, 16 picks, the top half of the draft? Doesn't normally happen with centers. So, you know, Lindstrom going 13 would also be kind of, you know, I'm not saying that these things won't happen. I'm just saying like, hey, man, that's a lot of like hot takes coming out the gate here. You know, you got a corner going number 1 overall. You got Thibodeau going over Aiden Hutchinson. You got, you know, a center going in the top 16 picks. Like, you're full of hot takes on this draft. I mean, this mock draft here, PFF. It is what it is, I guess. All right. The other thing you guys should probably know is that Malik Willis is the 4th quarterback that went 18th overall to New Orleans. Give me a second because that completely messed up my what I was trying to do here in this draft. But this is why I love the randomness of the draft because you can't predict it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. You know what I mean? But it kind of messed up our draft value at number 19. It definitely hurt me for trying to trade back that pick. I'm a guy who's I'm not opposed to trading 15 or 16, one of those 2 picks. I don't care about packaging those 2 picks and climbing into the top 10 or even going to pick, you know, you got to get in the top 10 if you're going to give two first picks like that. But if you identify a player like a Kyle Hamilton or someone that you think is groundbreaking, I'm not opposed to doing it. Of burning the ships, because that's what you're doing with Jalen Hurts. You're burning the ships because you're now committed to Jalen Hurts, really and honestly, because now you're taking away the leverage you could have in a you know, the next draft class to do it. But here's how it worked out, guys. 15, we come on the board. Guys, I hated doing this just because, like, here's the thing. The reason I don't like doing this is that, like, every single person who's put out a mock draft, we've all put the same thing out in terms of the mock draft, in terms of who we selected, okay? I'm going to go to my results so you can see real quick. With the 15th pick, guys, I took Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. Okay, couple of hurdles to clear here. An Eagles draft history. We know it's been since 1979 and Jerry Robinson since a linebacker's been selected in the first round. I just didn't want to get cute here, man. He was the best player I had still available on my board, personally. He was the best available player on my board personally. So I was like, look, we know the importance of a linebacker to this scheme. I know that there's a lot of history we have to break here to make a selection like this. I still, in the back of my mind, some would expect the Eagles to either trade back one of these picks into 2023 or to trade forward with both picks and climb to the top 10. So I don't know that you're going to sit here with 3 picks like this, but I mean, look, Devin Lloyd's a difference maker in this defense. I don't like it because every single person who's come on YouTube's giving you that pick, guys. You know what I mean? Like, it kind of is what it is, guys. So the next pickup, my next pickup, which was 16th overall, I wanted to trade it, but I just didn't have any offers, so I would have to force an offer. So I want to talk about cornerbacks real quick. So when I looked at cornerbacks, the problem was that a lot of corners had already kind of come off the board. So Stingley and Gardner had already come off the board. So I was really sitting there deciding between Elam and Booth Jr. I think the Eagles, from what I can tell so far, and I don't know that much, guys. I mean, I'm just like you. I'm making a lot of assumptions here. It looks like to me that before the combine, before all these things happen, it looks like the Eagles have a little more interest in Booth, I would say, than Elam. I like Elam more personally. I want the guy that I think is going to be the better player at the next level. So I took Kaiir Elam. It's debatable. I know there's going to be people in here that like 40, 50% of you guys are going to say, I think Booth's better, Gate, to be honest. It's debatable, but I like Elam personally because we go back and we talk about Stingley's freshman season. Well, you know what? That same exact year in his freshman season, Elam also had a baller year that year. And he kind of kept it up, I mean, look, was there some curtails where Stingley or Elam, either one of these guys, as good their sophomore or junior years? Probably not. Really debatable. But I think with Booth Jr., there's a far smaller sample size before this season compared to Elam, who's played a lot from his freshman year to his junior year, basically. So I went with Elam here. Elam was my pick personally as the corner. I will say that you could definitely argue edge rusher because it puts you in a really weird place for edge rushers. I didn't do edge rusher yet because I trust the talent in this draft class at edge rusher. So I kind of was like, look, with Karlaftis gone, with some of these other dudes gone, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to get the guy that I think can win at the next level on the edge, and I can identify these guys. I felt confident in my ability to do it. So I'm going to be honest with you right from the jump, guys. I went linebacker. I went corner. Probably very unlikely for the Eagles. We all know that, but that's how I saw it. That's how I would do it personally. I'm not saying how he's going to do it this way. I'm not foolish enough to say that, guys. All right. I get to pick 19. I know I got 3 offers here. I didn't like any of the offers. All the offers were not good. None of the offers would really give me a first rounder in 2023. I probably could have taken a second rounder in 2023 over the 92nd pick, but I traded 19 away, and this is what happened to me. The 4th quarterback came off the board, a pick before 19 to New Orleans. So it's that pick number 18 is where New Orleans ended up taking Malik Willis. So I was like, crap, like that stinks. Like that completely burned me. Like that's like the real definition of getting burned by a draft value, right? Like I messed around, didn't trade away 16 or 15, and then assumed that one of these quarterbacks would still be there at 19. I'd be able to play PFF, if you will. I'd be able to sucker them into, giving me the value I wanted. You know what happened? It didn't happen. That ain't what happened, guys. So I ended up getting basically their 28th pick, and I got their 92nd pick overall. So I got pick 28 and pick 92 for pick 19. It's not the greatest value. I think that's a little unrealistic. They were a little stringent on what they would give me because of the quarterbacks. I couldn't get what I wanted. It is what it is, guys. So with the 28th pick, this might not be a popular take. I took Arnold Ebiketie. I think it's a Ebiketie. I think Arnold Ebiketie, if you really look at his film, guys, and you study him, and I'm not a Penn State homer. I'm an NC State guy. I have no connection. I have no reason to be a homer for Penn State. I just like this young man's film. I think he's got a really good get-off the line of scrimmage. I think he can be an impactful player at the next level. And I'll be honest with you. Some of you Penn State fans are going to really like my back-to-back selections here because that's where I went. I went with an edge rusher. I think edge rusher is important to the Eagles. So I want Ebiketie. I like Ebiketie's underlying film a lot, guys. I think that he gives you the kind of production along with, the sack production. He had double-digit sacks, I believe. So he gives you that sack production to go along with some of the other underlying things that people like and that people are really favorable about when you look at other guys in the draft class like Karlaftis and those guys that get a lot of pressures. They get a lot of quarterback hurries. You kind of get the best of both worlds with Arnold Ebiketie, and I don't think he's a finished product. I think there's still room for growth with Ebiketie. I went 28 overall with Ebiketie. I would have loved to have gotten back a little further and gotten more draft capital because I feel like if you picked within the top 35 to 36 picks, so anywhere between, I think, 25 to 36, you could walk out with a really, really good football player. Some other guys that would have been up there would have been Lille. who would have been a great interior pass rusher to pair with Milton Williams, Brandon Graham, Maleel, and all the and I would have gotten a pass rusher at 51. You could have went Jermaine Johnson at 34, 35 in that area. That's about where he went. There's a lot of different ways to have achieved this outcome, to be quite honest. And mind you, I'm not saying that this is where these guys' values will be. I don't think there'll be this many pass rushers available in the second round. Pass rushers tend to rise up boards, especially after the combine if they put up really impressive testing numbers. So I don't think that Jermaine Johnson is going to be there at 35 in reality. I mean, I think it's a possibility, but I think it's far more likely he climbs into the first round. I mean, you can look like Turner and some of these other guys from previous drafts and how high they went above their original expectations. I like Ebiketie. I feel very confident in that pick. Now I want to get into the first time I think I really got burnt. I think I got burnt, and I think things got controversial, but I still stand by my pick because I think it improves this football team, guys. All right. So my next pick was Brandon Smith, linebacker, Penn State. Okay. Let me explain what I did here. You guys are seeing my third round pick, which I don't like because now you guys are being able to cheat and see what I did here. All right, Brandon Smith. I took him for a couple of reasons, right? Number one, let me just tell you right forward. Do I expect the Eagles to do something like this? Heck no. They wouldn't do this. They're not going to spend this kind of draft capital at linebacker. Asking them to take a linebacker in the first round or even just the second round, I think is already asking a lot for what this organization likes to do. This is a little bit of selfishness to where I felt like linebacker is incredibly important. And if I can create a linebacker room that has Devin Lloyd and has Brandon Smith and has, how much did Darius Leonard? Boy, that would be phenomenal. Sorry, guys, I'm done. You get what I'm saying here. If I can create that kind of linebacking core to where basically TJ Edwards becomes my fourth linebacker, a guy that's a run defense specialist and zone passing specialist, because he's, to TJ Edwards' credit, man, he's a former safety and he's better in zone coverage than people think. He just doesn't have the underlying skill set to do some things in terms of man coverage. He's not a man coverage guy at the linebacker spot. He's not athletic enough for that. The reason I took this, guys, is because the linebacking core has completely changed. Our linebacking core is become so much better. Now, let me tell you what is passed up here, okay? What is passed up here? And I probably might have reconsidered it if I had more time to think about it. I kind of rushed this one, guys. This is a first take. This is not me drumming things up for you guys. This is first take on it, guys. Emerson, cornerback from Mississippi State. I think that, looking at it, I did take a corner. I took Kaiir Elam early. I think you could have paired up another corner here, get some young corners. I think the Eagles would be far more likely to take corners early like that than they would be to do what I did here with back-to-back linebackers, if I'm being honest. Sure, he was on the board, right? Benito. So I like Benito. He's an edge rusher from Oklahoma. The problem is he's very much a specialist. I don't really want to take a specialist in the second round. Benito is nothing more than a pass rusher. He's not a down-in, down-out, hands in the dirt, 5 technique defensive end, right? He's probably a little better suited that if you could stand him up and maybe play him as a 34 rush, linebacker, maybe so. Maybe specific schemes as a sand linebacker, I could see it. For us, he'd be a little bit more of a specialist. So I was like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just not going to do that, even though I love the player. He's one of my favorite players. If you look at his underlying analytics, guys, at how well he did from a pass rush perspective, that dude is very much underrated in this draft class for what he can give you. Kyler Gordon, another cornerback that I think has a lot of value, inside, outside versatility, good 6'1" frame, can play as a nickel, can play outside. I like him a lot. He's another one of these, Washington corners. I think he's a good football player, right? Kobe Bryant, the opposite corner on Cincinnati's team, the guy who's opposite of Ahmad Sauce Gardner. I like Kobe Bryant a lot, and to be honest with you, if I had taken Kobe Bryant, if I had taken Martin Emerson, or if I had taken who I took here, which is Brandon Smith, personally, I think the defense gets a lot better with any of these players. The other player I thought I missed out on here was Jalen Petrie. I will tell you, I've seen other mock drafts where Petrie's not being realistic, where they're mocking him. In my draft, Petrie went 78th overall, and I got burnt because I thought I could get Petrie later. But I think I did a good job recovering, and I'm going to explain why I recovered better than what people probably will think at the safety position. So I missed out on Petrie, guys. I missed out on a few different guys, okay? I'll be honest with you. There's a few different guys here I could have taken that I kind of missed out on. I like what I did here at the linebacking core, though, guys. I like how drastically I just improved this football team by bringing in Arnold, Ebiketie, bringing in Brandon Smith, bringing in Kaiir Elam and Devin Lloyd. Defensively, I love what I did, and I didn't stop here, guys. I'm sorry, but I was taking who I thought were the best players available at the draft positions that were there because I know I can improve this team. Third pick, 83rd overall. I went and got something that I know is not only a position of need, is not only something that the Eagles value, it's something that caused a fight inside the draft room last year, which was opting up and passing over a nose tackle to play your defensive line. And I think that this pick would be very, very highly valued by the front office. With the 33rd overall pick, I took Travis Jones, defensive tackle, UConn. Man, here's my thing here. This is very defensive heavy, guys. Give me a minute. I do get to offensive players. You guys will like what I did on the offensive side of the ball. Trust me. Travis Jones is not only a good nose, not only can he give you run support, he adds and gives you a little value as an actual pass defender. The guy can give you a pass rush. I like Travis Jones a lot more than other people do, man. To me, Travis Jones is kind of argumentative to be the first or the second, in my opinion, nose in this draft class. I want Travis Jones, guys. This is where I went and got. I feel real confident with the way I've shaped our defense, man. I got Arnold and Ebiketie. My bad, guys. Arnold Ebiketie on my defensive end. I've got an interior guy in Travis Jones. I got a corner in Kaiir Elam. I got Devin Lloyd at the linebacker spot, and I got Brandon Smith at the linebacker spot. I don't think this stuff is reasonable. I don't think it's really going to come out this way. But, I mean, come on, man. If this was the draft class, I would love to see our defense play. But I'm not done. I got one more defensive player before we start really kind of reshaping some stuff, guys, and really start talking about other, the offensive side of the football. I just think you have to rebuild this defense. Okay, so I had already traded to get 92, and you guys know how Gate is, and I gave you guys some spare. I spared your time here. You guys know that I'm a big proponent of moving up and down the draft board. I only did it twice on you guys this time. You guys know my very first draft one, you guys were mad at me because I just kept, you know how I am, man. I'll keep trading. I think that if you know the game well enough, you can find talent. Don't overvalue things. If you know the guy doesn't fit the draft value, get down and get more picks. And that's what I did. I went from 92 to 95. Okay, I know it's argumentative, but I picked up the 172nd pick overall by moving down 3 spots. And I still got the guy I was going to take anyways, 3 picks later. Who did I take? Am I showing you it yet, guys? I took safety from Illinois, Kirby Joseph. Another guy that's been mocked on every single Eagles mock draft, but let me give you context to why you take Kirby Joseph, right? On one hand, I'm very scared of Kirby Joseph as a prospect because it's only a 1-year production sample size here. But the thing is, that 1-year sample size of production, guys, it was one heck of a production. I mean, Kirby Joseph balled out when he got a chance to get in there, guys. Great size, 6 foot, 6'1", 190. Good size. I do think he gives you the coverage ability to be a free. He can be a free safety for you. I mean, this dude was the number 2 overall graded safety from a coverage standpoint out of all the safeties in this draft class. All right. He gave up less than 50% completion rate, 9 out of 19, so under 50% completions on him. He forced 4 incompletions, had 4 pass breakups, and took away 5 passes, 5 interceptions. Look, I'm not completely satisfied with Kirby Joseph because I think there's guys with better ceilings than him, but he's still young. He doesn't have that much experience playing back there. The production's only 1 year. It's not like he can't get better. I would have loved to have gotten Petrie over him, but I think I recovered pretty well at getting a box safety because I consider Petrie to be a box safety. Now I got, at very minimum, I got Marcus Epps and I got Kirby Joseph to work around with, right? Just hang on, though. I'm not done with safety. We're going to get back to that later. All right, guys, I'm not going to keep boring you. We're going to get into when I finally went offensive football here, guys. So with the 4th pick, 121st overall, guys, I took Tyler Allgeier, running back, BYU. So a couple of guys came off the board, and, Walker came off the board in the 2nd round, guys. I wasn't taking a running back in the 2nd round. I'm not saying the Eagles won. I'm just saying I'm not. I'm not going to take a running back in the 2nd round, but I think I got probably the 2nd best overall running back in this draft class in the 4th round. I'm happy with that. This guy's 5'10", 220 pounds, 5'11", 5'10-ish, 220 pounds, man. 4.16 yards after contact. Pretty good marker, guys. Top 20 in all of NCAA football if you filter by 20% snap rate there. Okay. 76 missed tackles forced, 40 runs of 10-plus yards, and he's got 20 runs of 15-plus yards, breakaway plays. He gives me the athleticism that I don't get from Jordan Howard. He's young. maybe I can keep him healthy, unlike Jordan Howard, which I love Jordan Howard, but he just hasn't been on the field. And then to add things to it, when I get him to the second level, I think Allgeier gives me more at the second level than what I got from Jordan Howard, or what I'll get from Jordan Howard. Here's the thing. Miles Sanders on the last year of this rookie deal. 2022 is the last year of a rookie deal for Miles Sanders. I don't know what the Eagles are going to do there, right? I got one young guy that I like a lot, right? I got Gainwell, and I like Gainwell a lot. Boston Scott's, I think, a restricted free agent. You can kind of control his rights, but that's a short-term answer. It's not a long-term answer, right? The only long-term answer I really got here is Kenneth Gainwell. I got to pair him with somebody. Kenneth Gainwell is not a down-in, down-out back. He's very talented. He's going to be good for the Eagles and gives you a lot of utility. I think this was a really good pick. I'll tell you, I like Ford a lot too. Ford's another guy that I think gives you really good yard contact balance type stuff, and is special at the second level, what he can do to people. If I had missed on Allgeier, I'd have been looking for Ford, probably either trading up into the fifth, trading back up into the fourth, or if I could have got him sitting still, I would have taken him in the fifth. All right, guys, let's keep going. I think tight end number 2 on this football team is a much larger need than people realize. I think it is a far larger need than what anyone realizes for the Philadelphia Eagles. Dallas Goedert has a tendency to miss games. Dallas Goedert is a great football player when he's in games. I'm going to tell you, this isn't my favorite pick, but tight ends came off the board at a rate I wasn't expecting. Trey McBride came off in the second round. I wasn't taking a tight end 2 in the second round. I'm not saying the Eagles wouldn't do that. I'm saying I wouldn't do it. And then before I could pick my favorite player in this draft class from the tight end position, Kohler, he went in the third round above me, or third or fourth round. He went before I could get to him. And I was like, well, Kohler is who I wanted from Iowa State. He worked with Tom Manning. He was his offensive coordinator. Tom Manning was the tight end coach in Indianapolis. So that system is very close to what we run here in Philadelphia. Tom Manning would have been able to give us, with the relationship he has with our coaches, give us a real scouting report on him. I really wanted Kohler out of Iowa State. I didn't get him. I got a guy that's limited in Cole Turner. But while I don't trust him necessarily as a run blocker, I don't think he gives you that ability yet. His receiving ability is next level. 6'6" dude, 240-pounder. He's a converted wide receiver into tight end. Gave a big target for Carson Strong out there in Nevada. I like my pick so far. It may have taken me a long time to get around to offense, but I've got, I think, a pretty good running back now. And I think I got somebody that's a really good value in the 5th round at tight end. So I'm hedging my bets at tight end. I like Jack Stoll as a run blocking tight end. I think he gives you some ability in pass pro, but he's not really catching the ball. He's not there in terms of his route running and abilities yet. So and now I got another guy on the flip side of things I know can go up there and make a catch and would be a nightmare in the red zone to deal with. So I like Cole Turner. I like that selection. This is where my draft board got burnt because of freaking PFF, man. All right. I thought it did such a good job here. I knew we were going to go offensive line. I waited to the 5th round. I got us a center. I'll be honest with you. I wanted Jarrett Patterson because Jarrett Patterson from Notre Dame he's a far better blocker, okay? Especially when we talk about gap blocking, pulling and moving your guy. I like Alec Lindstrom from Boston College. I know Boston College is a very dominant running football team. I trust all that underlying stuff with him. Couldn't take Robinson, Michael. Robinson was gone. Robinson Jr. had already gone by the time I picked. But at the same time, I wanted who I wanted. I got robbed on this one. I would have probably gone with an offensive guard. If, you know what I mean? Like, I would have prioritized getting an offensive guard. I mean, I have a ton of 5th and 6th round picks. I would have leveraged something and got up and got the guard I wanted. They robbed me, bro. They robbed me by putting someone there that wasn't even available. They robbed me on this one. PFF, you should be doing better than this, man. I'm just going to be real with you. I'm not recommending you to nobody in terms of the mock draft simulator. I got robbed here. I took Alec Lindstrom. I think Alec Lindstrom's a good backup center. I don't think that this guy's a guarantee to ever be a starter in the league. I think that he's got average snap speed. I wouldn't call him particularly great off the line, but I think he's decent. I know the kid's a fighter, 6'3", 290, 295 poundish, somewhere in that area, guys. He's definitely a fighter. He's got that instinct to him, but I do think that sometimes you see the lack of athleticism on film with him. But decent quality backup guy. We'll see if Stout could get him right, and Stout I trust here. Kind of is what it is, guys. And I went to my next pick. And my next pick, I like my next a lot. My next pick, 5th round, 164th overall, I took Kellen Diesch, tackle, Arizona State. Very underrated player, guys. I'm assuming Andre Dillard's getting moved, and we better have some answers at tackle. We better get a guy that maybe can develop at left and right tackle and actually be a swing tackle behind Lane Johnson and behind, Mailata here, Jordan Mailata. Diesch is a very good pass pro guy. I don't know how he is in the running game. You're talking about the Pac-12. There's not a whole lot of running going on at the Pac-12, but I will tell you this: he's a very good pass pro tackle. He can do some things in the passing game in terms of being that guy as a tackle that can really have good smooth hips and move. I like this pick value. I don't think he's going to fall this far, guys. Now I'll tell you who I would have traded up for if I didn't get robbed by PFF. I would have gone after the young man at Georgia in the 4th round. I would have traded back up into the 4th round after. There's a young man from Georgia, and his name is slipping my mind, but he's played right guard, he's played right tackle, he's played left tackle, he's played left guard, and he's played center throughout his freaking career at Georgia, his collegiate career there. That's what I would have gone after. I can't, like I said, his name is slipping my mind, guys. I'm going to repost this, so if you guys catch this in the middle and you missed some of the stuff I said, don't worry. I'm going to repost it again later, edit it differently, and then I'll name some of these guys that's slipping my mind right now. But there was a guy from Georgia I would have prioritized as an interior, pass blocker, but because I got robbed here of Jarrett Patterson, I thought, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm kicking myself right now in the moment because I would have traded back up into the 4th with all this leverage in the backgrounds. I don't need to have 5 picks between, the 5th and 6th round. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Although I think I did a good job with these picks. Diesch is a really good football player. I like him a lot. I would have gone after him. Personally, I would have gone after him. But it is what it is, guys. All right, my next pick. I went back defense again, guys, and I love what I did here. Nick Cross, safety, Maryland. Highly doubt this guy's available in the 5th round. Seems very unlikely to me. Let me talk to you guys about Nick Cross. Nick Cross is about 6'1", probably about, I've seen him listed at 205. I've seen him listed at 215. I'm going to go right in the middle and say, let's just say 210 and be safe. 6'1", 210-pound physical safety that can play the box. This young man has, there's some development that needs to occur here. But I'm telling you, scouts love this young man. Coverage grade, he's got to get better, guys. Nick Cross needs to be better. But he did force 4 incompletions. He picked off 3 passes. He's got 3 pass breakups. He's got the size. He's physical. He's a hitter. Man, if I could walk away with a draft class where I get Kirby Joseph as my free safety, and I get Nick Cross as a future strong safety, I got Marcus Epps still on my football team. I don't know what Kevon Wallace is going to become. Maybe I sign a veteran. I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I would be really, really happy with what I've done defensively here, guys. So far, my defensive draft has been Devin, Lloyd, Kaiir, Elam, Arnold, Ebiketie, Brandon Smith, Travis Jones, Kirby Joseph, and Nick Cross. Yeah, like it's crazy to me, man. Like this, no way Nick Cross goes this far down in the draft. I'm going to tell you straightforward, guys. I would be shocked if he's still there in the 5th round. I would run to the podium for Nick Cross. I couldn't believe what I was seeing when it came up. I was like, how's Nick Cross still available? How's this even a discussion that Nick Cross is there in the 5th round, man? I went and took him. I ran to the podium. I will tell you right now, some of the things I would have done differently is maybe look for an edge rusher or a safety earlier in the draft, instead of taking Brandon Smith, which I still stand by that pick. I think it was a good pick. I would have maybe done some things a little different. But you can argue a corner. I probably should have prioritized corner a little bit more than I did. I only got Kaiir Elam. But I do feel like we'll probably go after and we'll sign a veteran back here again. We can also play the draft again next year for a corner. I'm not overly worried there. I think the one cornerback that I got was a pretty good corner, in my opinion. Last pick in this draft. So this last pick in my draft. Who did I get? I got wide receiver, Miami, Charleston, Rambo. 6th round. I don't see it, man. I don't see him being there in the 6th round, bro. I really don't see him being here in the 6th round, bro. This is crazy value. 5th round, maybe. But, I mean, this dude had 79 catches and 1,100 yards on the season, guys. He's not the biggest dude in the world. I mean, he's got good body size, 6'1", 6'2". He's under 200 pounds. He's one of these under 200 guys. I'd say he's probably 175, 180. He's not the biggest dude. He's a good yak guy. This guy gets yak. And what I love about Rambo is that he's not just a vertical threat. He can get you vertically. He's got a 12.7 average depth of target. He can get you vertically. But he does work the full route tree. I watched him run out routes. I saw hitches. I saw comebacks. I mean, this guy can play the flanker. He can play even past the flanker. He can play on the boundary as an X. He can play in the slot for you. He's good movement guy. They used him on screens. I like him, man. I mean, when I looked at, like, look, the young man he was 12 of 23 on contested catches. So he's over 50% on contested catches. They didn't mind throwing the ball up to him, right? Had 387 yards of yak. He broke 7 tackles, or forced 7 tackles, missed tackles, if you will. I think that we're probably going to get a veteran, so I didn't prioritize wide receiver. I had an opportunity to get Treylon Burks, and I did consider it at 19 getting Treylon Burks, but I passed on it, and I think I got rewarded by staying patient because if Charleston Rambo was really there in his 6th round, this is a great 6th-round receiver. It takes a lot of pressure off of him. I think he's better than what people think. I think he's not going to be an 80-inch wingspan guy. He's not going to be that type of receiver. I don't think. We got to wait till the measurements come in. I could be wrong. I expect him to be more 75, 76-inch wingspander. But I think Rambo is – I mean, look, John Hightower's still on the roster. I think Rambo's better. I'm just going to call it out. I think Hightower is a good route runner. I think Hightower can be a vertical threat. I think Rambo's I think he's a better one. I think he's just a better wide receiver. I'm just going to be honest. I like my draft, guys. I picked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players. I traded twice. I went very defensive heavy, but I still picked offensive players. I went and got us maybe a potential running back of the future and Tyler Allgeier to pair with Kenneth Gainwell. I got us a tight end too. I mean, it's not the guy I wanted. He's not the guy I wanted, but I still like Cole Turner from Nevada. I think it's a good pick. I got us some interior, depth here with Alec Lindstrom. He's not my favorite player. I messed up. I should have got the guy from Georgia. I know that. If I had known that Jarrett Patterson had already declared for the draft and PFF didn't mess me up, I would have went and got him in this draft. I like what I did here. Kellen Diesch, I got us a guy that could potentially be that swing tackle we need post Andre Dillard. I don't know, guys. I mean, I like what I got here. I think it's a good draft. I do think that I'm a little concerned. I didn't get a lot of corner depth here. I honestly kind of banked on some things here and there a little bit, right? I mean, we can talk about corners. We can talk about the fact that I didn't get an interior offensive lineman outside of Lindstrom. I do think that, guard, especially right guard, I think we got guys that are talented. I think we have guys that can play, but I don't know how good Suapeta is. Is he really starting caliber? Is that more just a really high-quality backup? Nate Herbig, how good is he? Jack Driscoll is plenty good enough to play right guard. Can he stay on the football field? That's my big concern with Driscoll. He's got to stay on the football field. If not, then he's just really a good 6-man off the bench, a guy that can pretty much play all 5 alignments on the offensive line. He can play left tackle. He can play left guard. He can play center. He can play right guard. He can play right tackle. He'd be the ultimate 6-man off the bench, in my opinion. But this was my draft, guys. So we'll get to some comments. Let's talk, guys. I mean, this is what I came up with. First off, thank you guys so much for watching. There's a lot of y'all on the live stream. Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys. Sorry, I'm going all the way up to the top, guys. I'll try to read fast, all right? What's up, Sam? How you doing, buddy? He says, definitely will be watching this one. Antonio, what's good, buddy? What's up, 2020? How you doing, man? I appreciate you tuning in, man. My guy Sharif said, enough with the hard sell. Get to it. And it better not be Hamilton first or I'm done. With the first pick. He said, Ali said, I use the draft network for mine. Yeah, I wouldn't use PFF because I'm not recommending them, Ali. Herbert said PFF was biased on grading actual players. Don't trust him. Good morning, Gates Gorillas. Watched you guys. Defensive end Williams. See him as more of a depth piece, long to go down player. I like him, man. I think he's a really good football player. I couldn't get to him. What ended up happening in this draft with Sam Williams, guys, is when I was picking 3rd, I got cute, and I thought I could get him. And then, like, right after I picked Travis Jones, he kind of came off the board on me. So it's like I like Travis Jones. Evan Neal. Yeah, Evan Neal's a monster. He said bad gas, laugh out loud. It's all good, man. What's up, Waylon? How you doing, buddy? 2020 said, I can't remember. Offensive tackles, quarterbacks. NFC East B said, positional value, cornerback not happening at number 1. Yeah, it's crazy, man. My guy said, Texans, every position, laugh out loud. I like Pro Football Network's draft simulator. We'll have to use your own board after about the top 5. Yeah, I like the functionality of it, NFC East Beast. I don't like the fact that they had players in there that are not even declared for the draft. They actually returned for their senior season. Like, That shouldn't be happening this late. Well, it's not that late in February, guys, but at this point in February, it shouldn't be happening. They should know who's already coming back. What's your thoughts on Russell Wilson rumor? It's not a real rumor. It's not a real rumor, guys. You can't trust the NFL rumor Twitter account, guys. And if you go to Albert Breer's page, he didn't tweet anything like that. I would say 2 go before the Eagles, but 3 is possible. So if one quarterback's taken before the Eagles pick, it's possible. What's up, One Above All? He says, scouts were high on Barnett, too. I need athleticism and length at the defensive end position. Give me JJ or Arnold from Penn, and then give me Sam Williams. I gave you one of them, man. I gave you Arnold Ebiketie. What's up, Sharif? He said, if it goes like this, I'm not taking any DNs until the second. The Washington team's team name? Yeah, bro. I couldn't even remember their name, Michael. I was like, I don't even care, man. That's such a poor choice of name. I feel bad for their fan base. I want to trade down, and down. Don't provoke me, Sharif. I'm the king of trading down. You ask these guys in 2020 when I did the draft, I traded all the way down to almost the end of the second round. Highest center last year was Ragnu, who went 20th, I think. No, I don't think anyone's gone in the top 25 picks in the Tier O since like 2018 or 17, somewhere in that area. NFL mock draft database.com is pretty realistic. Good to know, guys, because the next time we do this, I'm going to use a different database. If they don't fix some of this stuff, there's no way I'm using it again. What's up, Showing Enough? How you doing, man? Tree said, I really like Sam Williams. I do too, man. I think Sam Williams really bends the edge well. The guy's relentless in his pass pursuit. I think he's very underrated. He's very high on my list for edge rushers. And he's actually a converted linebacker, I believe. So, I mean, I think 34 teams that are looking for a rush linebacker should be high on him. I think 43 teams he's not a small guy. He's like 265, 270, somewhere in that area. Like, he's a good football player. 2020 said, nice. It's a nice draft, coach. Appreciate that, guys. Sharif said, Elam is my second favorite corner. I really like McCreary. I like McCreary as well, but I think McCreary to me is really the values in that second round. If you get McCreary early in the second, like if you trade back and you're an early second, McCreary's there. Like the thing with McCreary is he doesn't have the appropriate length, but he's played a ton of games in the SEC. A lot of production against good quality opponents. And I mean, this year was an okay year for him. Like I like him as a second round value pick. Elam is really good. My guy showing up said Elam is a better coverage cornerback. Booth looks like a defensive back. Could be used at safety too. Justin said, I'd love to get Garner, but he's probably out of reach now. I'd be fine with Elam, though. Yeah, I would have loved to get Sauce Garner as well, but he was out of reach. What's up, Gay City? My first 2 picks were the same, and a trade for the next year for round 1. My thoughts, too, Justin. Would love to get Sauce, but I'd be good with Elam. Bob Whitebread said, man, this draft is great so far. Thank you, man. Antonio said, you took Elam over Sauce. No, Sauce went I want to say Sauce Garner went 13th overall, guys. No, 13th was Linderbaum. So Sauce Garner went 14th. He went right in front of us. Yeah, the Penn State defensive end is really good. Yeah. With Cameron Thomas on the board still. I can look at it real quick, guys. Let me take a look, and I'll see where he got. Let me see where Cameron Thomas got selected. Let me go back to the full results, and then I'll search for Cameron Thomas for you guys real quick. So we'll just type in Thomas. Sorry if I'm moving the camera, guys. Like right on my keyboard. So Cameron Thomas actually went 30th overall. So Cameron Thomas went right after I took Arnold Ebiketie. He was nowhere in sight of that, that second round pick. He actually went to the Chiefs, which is a pretty good pick for the Chiefs. I can see him being a Chief. He fits that kind of thing. You like Sam Williams? I like Sam Williams a lot too. He actually, Sam Williams actually liked my tweet on Twitter. I thought that was pretty cool. I think we could trade back and get Majai Sanders. Sorry. He's a really good edge at the top of the second. He's let me see where he actually went, Justin. And mind you, these are not it's not like these are definitive here. They're taking wild guesses as well. But Majai, I like Majai a lot. I do. He's a typical, he went 61st. So Majai went 10 picks or so after we made our selection at 51. You can make an argument that Majai Sanders would have been a good pick if I didn't take, Brandon Smith, and I could live with that one. I like Majai. Any guy that comes from the same school as Trent Cole and has a little flashes on film that remind me at times of him. Hey, I'm down for it. Does Penn State put out decent edge rushers? Last time we got a defensive end from Penn State, didn't go well. Yeah, but that was also a mid-round valuation guy. I think Ebiketie is going to be really good at the next level, showing off, to be honest. We can get great value for pick 16. Steelers might want to jump Saints for a quarterback. Yeah, I'm more in favor of trading 15 or 16. I would have had to pursue the pick. Nobody was coming up to get anybody. And I was kind of shocked, but I was like, I guess they felt like just jumping us at 19, they'd be able to get whatever they wanted. I don't know. It was weird to see. Sharif said, I need to see who else was on the board. Where did Kenyon Green go? Kenyon Green's a bad fit for Philly, guys. He's not. I saw someone try to break him down. They said that he was a good puller. No, he's not, man. He's one of the lowest rated guys. He's literally one of the lowest rated guys in terms of, pulling around. Like, that's not his game at all. I honestly think he's a good football player. He's just a bad fit for what we do in our system. So Green, let me see where he got picked at. Green went, sorry guys, it's not cooperating with me here. Well, let me move up in this draft board because it is not helping us here. Kenyon Green, I'm sorry guys, I'm scrolling through. Kenyon Green went 31st overall to Cincinnati, which I do think is a better fit, and I think Cincinnati needs depth. What's up, Rock? How you doing, man? 2020 said, I'm doing my own draft simulation on NFL mock draft database.com, and it's a disaster. Karloftis, Gardner, Ojabo, London, Stingley, Pickett, Wilson, Linderbaum, all gone. Lloyd and Dean was there. That's about what most of them are doing now, to be fair. One above all said, Brandon Smith, interesting. Rather trade back and hopefully get Darion Beavers from Cincy. Big linebacker, gives you pass rush, and he covers well. I mean, to be fair, Brandon Smith's very athletic too, and he's not a bad coverage guy. He's not a bad coverage guy at all. But I would have been, what I would expect the Eagles to do, one above all, would probably be to take a pass rusher there. The problem is I didn't have any trade offers at 51. I would have to initiate the trade. I'd be fine with getting 2 linebackers early, but I doubt Howie will. Yeah, I agree, Justin. I highly doubt Howie would do that. Vernon McKinley went somewhere around the 4th or 5th round, Justin. I like Vernon McKinley, but because I had already had Kirby Joseph, I didn't think the fit was the greatest here. I felt that at this point, Nick Cross is the guy that I trust a little bit more playing the box. So that's kind of where I went with that one. I don't hate McKinley, and McKinley's been in these draft class, these mock draft things, he's been a really good value pick because he's not going until like the 4th and 5th round on a lot of these. Brandon Smith is my 3rd best linebacker. I wish Howie would let you draft for our Eagles. Appreciate it, Bob. My guy Ken said, Coach, I love the D game. Sounds good. Yeah, I just felt like that's where you're going to make this team better. Like, go in free agency and go get you the receiver you need, but you got to improve the youth and the talent on the defense. I think that's where you actually build a formidable roster for this team in the future. Better be a running back, Sharif. You got your wish. It definitely was a running back, man. One above all said, I love Kirby Joseph. Do you see him as someone who can play in the box some? I want to get Marcus Williams, and I know he is mainly a free safety. Yeah, I think Kirby Joseph is, he's not a small guy. He's definitely not a small dude at all. He's very hard-nosed. I think he can play the box for you. You definitely can match him up in the box as a strong on, safety as well, on tight ends and running backs coming out of the backfield, stuff like that. Probably better utility as a free. I think you kind of want him roaming around trying to get the football for you. But, I mean, I wouldn't take it away from him. I think he could do it. My guy showing up said Tyler Allgeier. That's a great late round pick. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if they're just going to sit there and leave a guy like that on the board in the 4th round, I'm going to take it. I'm like, this is like, it's hard to justify taking another player when I know this guy should be picked in the top 3 rounds. I know that this guy should be in, somewhere in the 3rd round is where you should be going. So I was like, I'm taking this. This is great value. Joseph, woohoo, great pick. His head coach should be a defensive coordinator in the league. Bring all his D staff with him. Antonio says we need safety. Yeah. Yeah, I like Kirby Joseph a lot, guys. Yeah, Kirby Joseph is a long safety, great ball tracking skills. Same thing with Nick Cross. He's got really good length. He's one of these guys that's a really rangy dude in terms of being like lanky in the arm length. And he's a bigger dude. You know, he's not a small guy at all. But I kind of like what we did at safety in this one because I think it'd be a really good safety class if we came away with these type of players, especially in the third and the fifth round. Like that would be incredible value. Yeah, I talked about this one earlier, Michael. Yeah, Allen Robinson. Well, not Allen Robinson, but Robinson Jr. was already off the board. That's why I didn't take him. Robinson Jr. I think was the second running back that came off the board. I like Lindstrom. Love that pick. Eagle Slayer said I really like watching Jermaine Johnson play. Interior lineman next. Yeah, like I said, Bob, if I had to do it again, I would have. There's a young man from Georgia. I don't know why his name is slipping my mind right now. But there's a young. Hang on, let me see if I can't find him real quick for you guys. There's a young man from Georgia who, in my opinion, is an incredible player. I think he's going to be a really versatile football player at the next level. And I do think he's like a fourth round. You might get lucky and get this guy in the fifth round, but I feel like he's a fourth round, back of the fourth round pick. I would have traded up for him if I'm being totally honest. I would have been coming up and going after him if I'm being real about it. I would have definitely been moving up the draft board to come get this young man because I think he's going to be incredible at the next level. I got fooled, man. I thought Dret Patterson was going to be there, and he was there. You know, to the credit of the organization or whatever how they mocked this. But what they didn't take into account is that he's not actually in the 22 draft. So they kind of burnt me there. I'm waiting for this to load, guys. As soon as it loads, I'll go back and I'll try to pull this young man's name. What do you think of Nick Muse, tight end from South Carolina, the seventh undrafted free agent, a sleeper? No, I don't hate that, man, especially if you can get him undrafted. Antonio said, I love Turner. Yeah, Turner's like one of these guys that, when you look at it from, the receiving standpoint, what he can be as a receiver is next level. I mean, I think Cole Turner is a good football player. Probably not the best guy out there, but I don't think it's Schaefer, Waylon. I don't think it's Schaefer. I'm trying to load it. As soon as it loads, I'll pull him up. But here we go. Finally loaded. Let me filter by teams and see if I can't find it this way. But yeah, I mean, I really wish that the board had fallen a different way because sometimes these draft boards are just not realistic. Like they overvalue dudes that's like, yo, man, like scouts are not fooled by some of this stuff, guys. Like, why are we elevating a couple of these guys to draft statuses that are just clearly not realistic? Like, it's not going to happen. Fortunately, you know what I mean? Like, everyone has their opinion, and if you were to probably talk to them, they would probably feel different about it. But it kind of is what it is. It's not Raylich, it's not Turn, it's not Erickson. Is it Schaefer? You know what? You might be right, Waylon. It probably is Schaefer, actually. I think it is Justin Schaefer. I think you're right. He's the young man that played center like a handful of snaps his freshman year. I mean, he's played all across the line, and that's who I would have targeted. I would have gone after a guy with versatility to put inside a Stoutland scheme. Donovan West, I loved, man. Donovan West kind of caught me too. I thought I took down notes about Donovan West. Hang on. So when I took Kirby Joseph at 95, what ended up happening is Donovan West followed him up just a couple of picks later. And I would have loved to have added Donovan West, Red Eagle. 100%, man. But yeah. Yeah, he went before I could get to him. He went like somewhere in the late third, beginning of the fourth round. So that would have been a guy that if I'm the Eagles, maybe I trade up for a guy like that. If I really think Kelsey's not coming back this year, or if I think that Kelsey's gone after this year 100%, I'd probably go get a Donovan West type. A lot of you guys like Nick Cross. Yeah, Nick Cross is a good prospect, guys. I like that 2020. 2020 is like, yo, a moment of truth here. Any player past round 3 is a complete stranger to me. What's up, Buyer Steve? How you doing, buddy? Sleeping on Cole Strangegates. I bet he has more success in the NFL than Lindstrom. We'll see. I'm not really sleeping on any player. Donovan West is probably the guy I have graded as the second highest center in this draft class. I couldn't get in position to get certain guys. And then I got messed up by, the guy that I was trying to get myself into position for. Like, there are 2 guys I really wanted to target here, guys. All right. So after I picked at 95, okay, a few dudes came off the board. Gadecki from Central Michigan, who I thought is a really good swing tackle candidate. Luke Gadecki is highly underrated. He's a really good football player. Gadecki came off the board. I was really targeting Gadecki. I wanted Gadecki a lot from Central Michigan. That's what I was really wanting to go after. And then I really liked Jarrett Patterson. The problem is that I should have done my homework before I started the draft and made sure that he was actually in the 22 draft. So I kind of got taken, and it's a little my fault, but you kind of trust the database, but they got me on that one. And then Donovan West was pretty high on my list as well, guys. But I couldn't get in position for Donovan West. I missed out on Gadecki because his draft value was way higher than I thought. And then, I thought I'd be able to recover with Jarrett Patterson. He wasn't even in the draft, and I kind of got forced into taking Alex Lindstrom. And I would have, like I said, guys, I would have gone Schaefer over Lindstrom, to be quite honest. But I got caught. They caught me. Red Eagle said A+ draft gate. Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thoughts? Wallace was a bad pick when they made it, and he has proven me right. He's on Kayvon. I got him at 205. Yeah, so 2020 said it does look like, judging it from the mock simulators, the best player available is going to be a linebacker at 15. I 100% agree. I think you're right, 2020. That's how I got it too. Georgia cornerback and Oregon, right? What's up, Irish? He said Allgeier in the 4th. Nice Howard replacement. Yeah, I love that pick, man. I don't think it's going to be realistic. I think he's going somewhere in the 3rd round, to be honest, Irish Steve. But, he was just sitting there. Like, there's no way I was passing up that kind of value. I'm like, this is clearly the best player available. My guy 2020 said, I like Rambo. I do too, man. Waylon's like, yeah, man, anytime you say a Miami Hurricane, I'm on board. One above all said swing tackle option, Braxton Jones. He was gone before Diesch. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. Some guys I don't know exactly where they're going just because, just pure amount of guys inside the draft. Let me see. I don't even know if they have him rated on here and is even an option, guys. So let me see. Braxton Jones went, he went before Diesch. So Braxton Jones went to Chicago at 148 from Southern Utah. So, he definitely went before Diesch, I believe. So Diesch went, when did I take Diesch, guys? I took Diesch at 160. Or no, I took Lindstrom at 160. Where the heck did I take Diesch? Sorry, guys. Give me 1 second. Diesch, I took 164. Sorry. I know it was somewhere in the 160s. My guy, Richie MC said, great stream on the young quarterbacks as Russell Wilson's NFL career progresses. Does his number in the pocket rise above 2.5 seconds when he experiences pressure? I don't know that offhand, Richie, but I can look that kind of information up too and get back to you about it. You can definitely filter and see it. I like that, Bob. He's like, to be real, it's not like Rambo's going to be that much worse than JJ or Rager. That's fair. My guy went above all said, can you run the draft room instead of Hallie Gates? No, Hallie's not giving up that kind of control, guys. Yeah, it's fair, Richie. He said you can't really control who your opponents are, but does the Pac-12 conference, it's where Devin Lloyd played at, devalue his stats than if he had played, had similar stats playing in the SEC? Probably to an extent. I do think that they kind of look at it and they want to look at the devaluation of the stats, of course, but but they're also going to look at the film and just see how you move, things like that, right? Let me get my guy right here with the super chat. My guy Red Eagle with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, buddy. I appreciate that. He said, great draft, Gate. I struggle with Devin Lloyd or Trayvon Burks. My bad, guys. 15. Kellen, that's funny, bro. I'm going to get to your comment in a minute, Kellen. That's funny, bro. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up where we were. I'm almost catching up, guys. Hang on. Troy said, do you see us getting Devin Lloyd at number 15 pick? I think it's a possibility, but we're also talking about bucking the trend since 1979. So, I don't really push back too hard when people are, that is not the way you want to state that. I don't really take offense when people say, look, Gate, to be real, what's really the likelihood we're taking a linebacker that high? I don't see it, maybe 2nd round. It's kind of hard to argue with them because they got history on their side. You know what I mean? What's up, Gate? Should check out the Draft Network Simulator. I'll check it out, guys. Your draft reminds me of Ozzie Newsome. That's a compliment. Hey, I like Ozzie Newsome. He was a great general manager, man. Tim said, where do you value Smoke Money? He's a thumper. I think Smoke Money came off in the 3rd round on me. I was trying to play back, like we're kind of like where I was in some mock simulators I saw have allowed Smoke Monday to fall into the 4th and 5th round. So kind of where I was eyeing, Nick Cross was where I was kind of eyeing Smoke Monday, but he went higher than I thought, man. Sam Williams is great at the 66 highest, best player available in my simulation. Yeah, he went higher than I thought too. They kind of caught me on him. I thought I was going to be able to sneak one over them, and they got me. Troy said, I'm sorry. I'm late. It's all good, man. Don't worry about it. Guys, if you came in late, I will post a video later today where I'll go back over and I'll edit everything and I'll show you how I picked it. I'll give you the circumstances and I'll kind of break down where I think things could have been better. We'll do that later. My guy Michael said, no Justin Ross, but at least you got Rambo. Yeah, Justin Ross went higher than I thought too. I think he went somewhere in like the late 2nd, early 3rd. Michael, he went way higher than I thought he was going to go. The simulator had him way higher than other people I've heard talk about him. So I do think Justin Ross is still going to be high on people's boards. I don't think he's going to be like a 5th round pick. I mean, I've seen some people get real crazy. I got Ross. Hang on, let me go back up. Something don't make sense. So Charles Cross. No, not what I'm looking for, guys. So Justin Ross went the 49th overall. He went like the mid-2nd round to the Chargers. The rich got richer in terms of receivers. Yeah. My guy Richie said, irrational opinion from a rational fan or vice versa. With the whole Sidney Jones, John Ross thing, I want the Eagles to stay away from cornerback Trent McDuffie from Washington if he is the best available. I do like Trent McDuffie, Richie, but I think there's better players than him. I got Trent McDuffie as my 6th best corner. But yeah, I honestly think that is his countermate there that, Kyler Gordon might have the better pro career, if I'm being honest. But I think McDuffie's going to be good. I don't think he's going to be as bad as Sidney Jones and those guys. I think Sidney Jones, it was really, I think the injury did him in. I don't think he's ever been the same. But yeah, I get what you're saying, man, that sometimes these Washington corners, they don't work out in the league. 64 here, only 33 likes. Hit that like button and subscribe. My guy Drew said, yo, you found some steals in this mock. Joseph, Tyler, Cross, and Rambo. PFF draft simulator is trash, though. Yeah, exactly. Brisker got drafted in the 2nd round, guys. I thought about trading up for Brisker, Antonio. I was really close to trading up for Brisker because I think Brisker, in terms of coverage, safeties, I think he's kind of that next guy, in my opinion. I do think that Kirby Joseph in the 1-year sample size, not the whole career, the 1-year sample size, had the better season in terms of coverage. But I got to be honest, when I rolled film of Brisker, I was quite impressed, man. I think Penn State had a couple of really good defenders on their defense. It's kind of a shame they didn't achieve more than they did. I think they kind of missed an opportunity. Hit that like button and share. Thank you, Azar. I appreciate that, guys. Antonio said, as soon as I said we need a safety, you picked a safety. Hey, man, telekinesis. From your brain into mine, man. Jalen said Brandon Smith and Davion Taylor would kind of play the same role. I understand the need for competition, but Lloyd doesn't seem like a Mike. Can you give a bit of insight of how you see the linebacker room? So I actually see Brandon Smith more as the Mike in this situation. Davion Taylor would be my Will, and then I would probably then play Lloyd as my Sam in a 43, right? Then when I wanted to go in terms of a run defense, I'd probably play my 3 best guys in run defense situation. So clearly at that point, I'm bringing TJ Edwards in. TJ Edwards would be my 4th linebacker in this. I think Brandon Smith gives you a lot of side-to-sideline ability. He can flow. He can play the run pretty well. I don't think he's quite TJ Edwards in that regard, to be honest, Jalen. But I do think he's a better coverage guy. Now, I think the real trick will be is when you're in passing situations, who's coming off the field? Is it Davion? Is it Brandon Smith? It's not going to be Devin Lloyd. But I think that's really the issue is when you get into nickel situations or even dime where you're only keeping 1 linebacker on the field, who are you taking off? I mean, Devin Lloyd to me is going to be your dime linebacker. But that's what I would do with it personally. And then if you got injuries, you got several guys that can play a lot of alignments, right? I'll be honest with you. I think that Devin Lloyd has the physical and athletic ability to play each of the linebacker alignments, whether it's the Will, whether it's the Mike, whether it's the Sam. And I would say the same thing for Davion Taylor. He's got the athletic abilities to play Will, Mike, or Sam. I think, some of the other guys, it's a little bit more debatable. I think they're more of a two alignment type. Can you get some Sam linebacker play out of TJ Edwards? Maybe. I still don't think he's the best Sam linebacker. Wyatt went somewhere, I want to say in the second round, guys. You know how he will sign and pay a rookie free agent interior lineman for Stoutland? Probably so. If the board falls a certain way and the Eagles go offensive line heavy, which current Eagle would you expect the Eagles to trade? Dillard is a given, but do you see Isaac or Driscoll on the trade block? I think the interesting one to watch will be Isaac Seumalo. I see a lot of people say Dickerson. I don't think they're moving Dickerson. Why are you going to move a dude that's pretty much playing at a Pro Bowl level at left guard? Don't mess with ain't broke. I wouldn't move Dickerson. I would keep Dickerson right where he is. I think the real interesting question is post Kelsey, is Isaac Seumalo, who was a center in college, going to be your center? Isaac Seumalo was drafted to be Carson Wentz's eventual center. I don't know what they do there. I mean, Isaac Seumalo is a very athletic dude, but he's been injured, guys, since 2019. I think 2017 he was on the field. 2019 he was on the field. But 2018, 2020, and 2021, he suffered injuries, I think, in each of those years. I don't know, guys. I mean, I think Isaac Seumalo is the one where it's really interesting, to be honest. What's up, BLSG? How you doing, buddy? 2020 said if Ojabo and Karlaftis are gone at 15, it would be a disaster to miss on one of these pass rushers. Ebiketie, Trayvon Walker. Not a fan of Jermaine Johnson. I like Jermaine Johnson, but I think he's got a longer way to go. The Gambling say, appreciate all your work. Won't be listening to the live. Was almost an hour late today, but want to catch the whole program. It's no problem, Gambling Hippie. And I'm also going to do a condensed version of it for everybody later today. Where did Johnson go? Like 35th overall. Jalen, he went high second round, like 35th overall. That's funny, Jalen. He said this draft is a D plus at best because you only traded back twice. I thought we were on the same page, laugh out loud. I didn't want people going into revolt here. You know how I am, Jalen. I'll keep trading back. I have no problem trading back if I don't feel the value is there. We were supposed to have added 6 more picks for 2023 and walk away with 10 plus picks in the draft for trading back. I couldn't get any extra picks in 2023. They killed me with the quarterback run. I didn't see that coming. I was like, yo, this is nuts. Why is there such a quarterback run like this? This doesn't even make sense. But I didn't see that quarterback run coming the way it broke. NFC's B said, I'm hearing a lot of people have London as their number 1 or number 2 wide receiver. What do you think? He's somewhere between, I'd say 2 or 3. I wouldn't put him number 1, but somewhere in the argument between the second or third best receiver. Troy said, cool. L. Beth said, I would be happy if the Eagles added Christian Harris and Jaquan Brisker. Trading down a couple of those picks for 2023. Yeah, the only reason I wasn't as high on Christian Harris, and I had an opportunity where I took Brandon Smith, I could have taken Christian Harris. And Christian Harris is a good athlete, L. Beth. The only reason I didn't take him is Christian Harris is a bit of a liability in coverage. So I was like, you spend a second round pick on a guy that you know will not be in certain coverage situations. He's just not there yet. You know what I mean? What's up, Brandon Riley? Will you show the full draft again? Yeah, no problem, guys. Give me 1 second, and I'll switch over to it for you. Let me go to my results, and then let me scroll up. If you go back through, you can get the context of it all, Brandon. The context is going to be missing from this one, but so with the first pick, with the 15th pick, guys. So let me move up some here. The 15th pick, I went Devin Lloyd. Everyone's kind of went that way. That's where I went. I went 16, Kaiir Elam. 28th, I went Arnold Ebiketie, defensive end, Penn State. I just think he's the better of the guys that were still on the board right now. I went Brandon Smith, 51st, linebacker, Penn State. I don't think Howie would do this, Brandon. Don't get me wrong, but I just went with who I thought was the best player available and a guy that drastically helps us improve our defense. Travis Jones, defensive lineman, Connecticut. I wanted that nose tackle, and I think Travis Jones is arguably the second best nose tackle in this class. Then I traded, although I had already traded to get the 92nd pick, I went and got to 90. I traded again down to 95 and still got Kirby Joseph. Kirby Joseph is a really good coverage, safety. I feel good with that one. I'm sitting there in the 4th round, and Tyler Allgeier is still sitting there on the board at running back. I went offense finally. I went Tyler Allgeier. 5th round, I went Cole Turner. I wanted Kohler out of Iowa State because his connection back to our coaching staff and the fact that he can catch the football and he's a good blocker. I think he's a really good tight end too. But I missed on him. I didn't get a chance to draft him, but Cole Turner is a good complimentary prize. Then I went Alec Lindstrom, center from Boston College. Kellen Diesch, a swing tackle from Arizona State. Nick Cross, I got us the hard-hitting safety in the box, and then Charleston Rambo at wide receiver to close out the draft. That's kind of how I played the draft. What's up, Philly Mike? How you doing, buddy? I just saw you come into the chat, man. How you doing, bud? He said, did one yesterday. Got to start really looking into the prospects. It's all good, man. You learn them as you go, man. And we're not even to the combine, Mike. There's a lot that's going to change these boards. Some of these dudes are not going to be available where PFF has them going. It's not going to happen once the combine rolls around. I like Gordon more than McDuffie at his draft value, too. Yeah, 100%. NFC's beast. What up, Mike? Everybody saying, what's up, Mike? Jalen said, the problem I have with Brandon is he doesn't have enough tape of taking on interior offense linemen. It's a bit risky to me. And then Elbeth said, everything they are saying about Devin Lloyd, they said about Marcus Smith. What's up, y'all? You need to talk to LB about trade compensation. If a team wants to trade up to 10 to 15 spots, Eagles better get their 1st round pick the following year. Cody said, what up, coach? What I missed? We just did a mock draft, man. Just first mock draft. This is pre-free agency. I'll do another one post-free agency, and I'll do another one post-combine, and I'll do one last final one. NFL Combine, March 1st through 7th. Any idea when the pro day schedules for each team are going to be released? They're already starting to release some of them, Richie. So some of them have been released, and 3 of the quarterbacks all have pro days at the same time. And a lot of front offices are ticked about the way that some of these college programs, went about this. They say they went about it all the wrong way. Cody said, heck yeah, Lloyd can play more than one position. I believe what you think, coach. Yeah, I think he can play all 3 alignments at linebacker. Jalen said, can you explain what traits make a good Sam versus a Will? So it really depends upon the system you're playing in, Jalen, but a Sam linebacker, to an extent, should be able to set an edge. You know what I mean? Like, especially if they're coming down, like in our system where they need to challenge the tight end and really set that edge, like, because we're kicking our guys inside. So it's not really necessarily the responsibility of the defensive end on every snap. Sometimes it's on the Sam linebacker to kind of set that edge. In addition to that, they need to be able to hook. They need to be able to hook and defend there, play the flats, those kind of things. There may be some guys, or if they really think they're talented enough at Sam, they might even line them up man-to-man on a tight end or a running back. So, I mean, the Sam's got to be in that situation. I think your Will needs to be more of a sideline-to-sideline guy. A lot of times your Will is going to be a backside pursuit defender. So they need to have a really, really good ability to diagnose running plays and really have those good closing speeds. We did, Richie. My guy Ted came in and said, good morning, coach. I just want playmakers, Pro Bowl on defense. It's been decades since we had more than one playmaker on defense. Defense wins championships. Offense wins Pro Bowls. Troy said, great draft, coach. A+ in my opinion. What's up, Spike? How you doing, buddy? NFC's B said, if one of the top 3 tackles drops to 15, I think the Eagles should pounce. We are probably losing Diller and have already lost Brandon Brooks. You know, it's crazy. NFC's Beast, who fell. I couldn't believe this. Charles Cross fell to 15. And immediately I thought in my head, if that happened, how he's drafting Charles Cross. There's absolutely no way he's bypassing on a talent like that along the offensive line. No way he's going to do that. I didn't take him just because I found that to be so unrealistic. There's no way Charles Cross has fallen that far. But I'll be honest with you. He was there. it crossed my mind. I was like, yo, I almost have to take this just because it would be ridiculous in real life not to take Charles Cross at 15 or 16. I didn't do it just because, like I said, at the end of the day, I was like, yeah, this one is so unlikely to happen. Like some of these dudes that they got in the top 12 are likely not going top 12, but that's what happens when there's a run on quarterbacks. Somebody like a Charles Cross would then get shifted down the board. I just don't think it would be Charles Cross that got shifted down the board. I think that teams are going to value getting a left tackle. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't see that one personally. But I mean, there was definitely some hot takes from that mock draft. I was like, wow, like, you know, we just broke NFL history by taking a cornerback number 1 overall. By the way, a guy that's been kind of beat up the last 2 years with injuries. You know, then you kind of looked at the fact of how they rated the tackles and who they put above who. I mean, even that's controversial. I don't even think we talked about that, guys. I mean, let's go to the full results, and I can take a look at that real fast. Like some of this does to talk about who went first in terms of the tackles. Like, you know, the first tackle off the board was Akeem Ekwonu, who NC State. I love NC State. I love Ekwonu. That's my guy. But he's the first tackle. That's controversial. Then Evan Neal was the second tackle. Tyler Lindenbaum went before Cross went, and then Charles Cross went 17th to the Chargers. Like, I thought that was even a little suspect to me, to be quite honest, NFC's beast. If we can come close to your first 4 picks, I'd be ecstatic. Getting Lloyd, AK, and Elam, we got a playmaker at each level. Brandon Smith being available at 51 is steal. Yeah, that's why I took him. I thought he was the best player available on my board. NFC's B said, yeah, if he's there at 15, you run to the podium. Yeah, I mean, that's a ridiculous value for Cross. Like, I would be all over that. Like, I know we don't necessarily have that kind of a need, but, like, dude, we got 3 first-round picks. That's why you use that kind of stuff. Spike 23, what's good, buddy? I'm going to make a condensed version of it later. I'm going to do a condensed version and narrate it a little bit more. James said, GM, coach, who do you have in your – good morning, coach. My bad, James. I don't know why I said it that way. Who do you have in your mock? I missed your pick. Real quick, guys, I'll do it one more time. So my results were the first pick, 15th overall, the 15th pick, Devin Lloyd, linebacker from Utah. Like I said, guys, it's argumentative of how he's going to break a trend that hasn't happened since 79. Kaiir Elam, cornerback, Florida. I thought he was the highest graded corner still on the board. I still think it's a position of need, and I didn't want to be 9 or 10 corners deep before I took one. Arnold Ebiketie, edge rusher, Penn State. I traded down with Green Bay to the 28th pick. I got their 92nd pick and 28th pick. I took Ebiketie just because on my board from Jermaine Johnson, Ebiketie, and Trayvon Walker, I got Ebiketie as the next highest guy. So that's where I went. But I think you can make an argument for Devin Lloyd. Or not Devin Lloyd, I'm sorry, guys. For Leal to have been the pick there, too. With the 51st pick, I know this is very unrealistic, guys. I'm not advocating that Howie would ever do this. I took Brandon Smith, linebacker. I just want to improve this linebacking core. He was clearly the best player available on my board. I could have gone edge rusher here. There were edge rushers that were available. I could have gone with another corner. Emerson from Mississippi State was still there, a player I like a lot. Kobe Bryant, the corner opposite of Ahmad Garner, was still available. I like him a lot. Kyler Gordon, who's got inside-outside versatility as a corner for Washington, he was still available. You could have gone there. Bonito, who's a bit of a specialist. He's really just a pass rush specialist, but a very good pass rush specialist, even though he's limited. He was available. I could see that going there. Petrie, safety from Baylor, in the box kind of player. You could have gone there. There were opportunities, guys. I could have taken other players. I just thought that, in my opinion, Brandon Smith was the best player available at that point. Third round, I took Travis Jones. He's a nose tackle. We missed on a nose tackle last year. I think this guy is exceptional. I think he's the second best interior defensive lineman in this draft. That's where I went Travis Jones, guys. After that, I went Kirby Joseph. I got me my coverage, safety. Kirby Joseph had really good numbers, man. Kept teams under 50% completion rate. They were 9 of 19 against him. He had 4 pass breakups, 4 forced incompletions, and 5 interceptions. Second overall graded coverage safety in this, in this draft. Well, actually, he's the number 1 in the draft class, but number 2 overall in NCAA football. So I went Kirby Joseph there. He's good size too, 6'1", 6-footish, somewhere in that area, 190 pounds, good size guy, good wingspan. I like Kirby Joseph. Then I went Tyler Allgeier. I thought that was a ridiculous value at pick 121. I went and got us a future running back, a guy that I think can handle the rock 15 to 18 times a game without a problem. I went tight end too with Cole Turner. Cole Turner's a little limited. He's more of a receiving tight end than he is, a guy that can be inline and block for you. Cole Turner was one of these guys that split out a lot. Like they split him out a lot. So, I mean, he's that big kind of red zone target. He's a big target. He catches a lot of footballs. I like Cole Turner. I thought that was a really good value in the 5th round. I got robbed a little bit here, guys. I would have made different choices other than Alex Lindstrom, but I like Alec Lindstrom. I mean, Boston College is a guy that can run block. I like Alec Lindstrom at center. I thought Kellen Diesch here at pick 164 is a ridiculous value. He's just one of the better pass pro tackles in this draft class. I think he's a little limited. I don't know what, like I said, I got to watch more film to say what he is as a run blocker, but I mean, I like that pick a lot. I think it's a good pick. I went Nick Cross at 172. Nick Cross is my in the box safety. Nick Cross is one of these guys that's not going to be available in the 5th round this steep, guys. It's not going to happen. He comes out of Maryland, guys. He forced 4 incompletions, had 3 picks, 3 pass breakups. He's got to improve, right? He's not all the way there yet as a defender, but as a box safety, I like that pick a lot. And then I went Charleston Rambo, wide receiver from the University of Florida. Another one of these good size guys, 6'1", 6-footish, 175, 180 pounds. He's a little slight of frame, but good yak guy, 387 yards of yak. Averaged about almost, 4.5, 5 yards of yak. 4.7 missed tackles on the year. He had about 5 yards of yak. Good contested catch guy, over 50%, caught 12 out of 23 attempts. I mean, look, he's a good football player. 44 first downs. I mean, he runs out routes, hitches. I saw him he's more than just a vertical threat. I mean, yeah, he can catch the ball down the field. I mean, 12.7 average depth of target tells you can definitely catch it down the field. But he runs those things. He runs those out routes, those dig routes, those hitches, comebacks, curls. He does all those things. I like Charleston Rambo a lot. I think that would be an incredible steal. And I think he's going to give you more than Rager. I think he'd give you more than JJ. I think he'd give you more than John Hightower. I mean, that's kind of the way I played my draft board, James. Nick said, which simulator did you use? PFF. Not really happy with their simulator. What is Lane Johnson's trade value? Not going to happen, man. His contract is incredibly difficult to move on from. In terms of the top 3 tackles, what are their skill sets? Aquanu is more of a tackle guard kind of combo guy. Great athlete. Really one of these guys that you can move around and use in a gap pulling system. The other guy, I'd also say Evan Neal from Alabama. Big dude, 6'7", 350, 360. He's a mountain monster. Physical dude. Another guy that has a lot of athleticism that gets used in top gap blocking, pulling and stuff. Good guy. Charles Cross is the guy who had probably the biggest comeback season. Charles Cross had a really, really good comeback season in the SEC. I would say that he's probably the guy that if you look at what can be grown into, he's got that high upside. Really good pass pro guy. He got so much better in pass pro his senior. I think it was his senior year, either junior or senior season. Sorry, guys. I got to be honest. I really like the draft. In my opinion, I think we only really need a number 2 cornerback, and we don't need to dress it any further than that. You got 2 linebackers and a running back. I'm happy. My guy Philly Mike said, "Yeah, yesterday we got Lloyd at 15. At 16, we traded the Lions for a 2023 first. Yeah, that would be a great one. I didn't get any offers though because of the way the quarterback market fell in this mock draft. Then 32nd and 66. That's not bad. At 19, Elam. There you go. 32, Jermaine Johnson. 51, Devontae Wyatt. And 66, Kirby Joseph. So we had a lot of similar guys. Rambo said Kramer, the Hall of Famer. Philly Mike said they all won't be there, including that trade. Laugh out loud. Yeah, probably right. Rambo, laugh out loud. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to see that would happen, but I think with Barnett gone and Graham 35, I would have grabbed another pass rusher with Ebiketie instead of Brandon Smith. You could have, but I think that the real high quality guys that would be there at 51, you're dealing with a guy like Nick Bonito, who's just a specialist, a really good specialist 2020, but a specialist nonetheless. It's a 240-pound edge rusher. You know what I mean? Philly Mike said, I took Bailey Zapp late as well. Didn't even know about him until you're live a couple of days ago. Laugh out loud. I mean, Bailey Zapp's a guy that plays on time, little Gardner Minshew to his game. I think his stock is going to rise a little bit because although people look at the Senior Bowl game and think he wasn't good, the Senior Bowl practices were really good. He showed the ability to diagnose and read coverage. He's limited from the arm. He's not an arm guy, but he's a guy that is a backup. Yeah, he fits, man. He's a good backup, I think. One, Neal seems to be a sure thing. Two, Cross, great technician, could be a first-year starter or first-year swing. Aquanu will probably start, but needs lots of work on pass sets. He's a strong, big, bad dude. It pains me we didn't draft a big body top wide receiver in round 1 or 2. A lot of wide receiver talent in this draft. I like Karlaftis, but he went way too high. I see him in the teens. Yeah, I mean, I don't know that they've really worked this draft board, Kellen, since like early. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, some of these guys they had in the top 10 don't even make sense. Like, Pickett, the second overall pick. Come on, man. I like Kenny Pickett. He's not going over. If he goes number 2 overall, like, somebody made a huge mistake. And I don't think Kenny Pickett's a bum, but I think you get Pickett around pick 10. A perfect circle said Elam is going to be great. Yeah, I like Elam. I like Elam a lot, man. If Karlaftis has a good combine, he could go top 10 or top 12. Yeah, I think he could definitely go top 12 with a good combine. I definitely think that's true. I know that's being a little safe on what I said there, 2020, but I would consider him at that point to be, with like really good testing. I would consider him then to clearly be a top 12 prospect, in my opinion. All right, guys, we've been on here for an hour and 27 minutes. I'm about to jump off here because I got to edit this video and condense it down. I'm probably going to just refilm it, to be honest with you guys, and then I'll give you guys a little depth. Obviously, this is way more depth. Hearing it here, you heard me really go over the explanation. I'm going to clearly condense my explanations in the shorter video, but nonetheless, if you missed a great portion of what I did and why I took certain guys, you can either watch the replay of this, guys, or you can watch the condensed version I'll make for everybody later tonight. Jalen said, where do you see Mechie going? I don't know. In terms of the round value, somewhere in the late second, early third, I think. I think he's like a second, third round guy with that issue he's got going on with the ACL. These draft sims show us how weak this class is at the top. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking, Tennessee's beast, but some of their picks in the top 10, I was like, yo, I mean, I'm okay with the way they structured having like Stingley in the top 10. I'm okay with it. I get the underlying talent, but yeah, man, not number 1 overall. Wheeling and dealing on a PFF draft simulator and trade 3 times in the first and still got Devin Lloyd with the 20th pick. Not bad. I would take that big time. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys later tonight, guys. I got to jump off here. All right, y'all.